Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, I'm pretty sure you heard about Julian Assange and the WikiLeaks founder and I guess the most important person. And you know that he's right now in prison in Great Britain, free country, and he's going to, or at least the American government is trying to, not American government, some politicians plus the intelligence community tries to get him to United States to put him on trial, a speedy and fair trial. And anyway, they wrecked this guy's life in the past 10 years. He was in Ecuadorian embassy for, I don't know, 8 years or something. Now he's in prison. And these guys want to extradite him to the United States where he's going to stand fair trial. Like the other guy from Snowden, right, from Russia. He dodged that bullet, but he's not done. I foresee that Snowden one day will disappear from Russia and will show up in the United States, put on trial. After he is waterboarded or beat a little bit, and that I foresee that happening. He's a Russian citizen now. Vladimir Putin granted his request about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. It doesn't matter. These guys are gonna kidnap him. I'm almost certain, and they will put him on trial, and they will not care. So, Julian Assange, there are a lot of supporters for him, and there are a lot of people who don't like him for various interpretation of his actions, and probably different, membership. Maybe because they have different values, maybe they interpret values differently, I don't know. I think that any information that comes about these leaders and their sleazy moves is welcome. And when it's needed, they say that you can't, in order to make an omelet, you have to break a few eggs. Well, maybe Assange did what, let's say, CIA does all the time. So this article comes from Sputnik. And it says that Assange from today, 8th of what month? October. 8th of October. And it says that Assange supporters form human chain around UK Parliament today. And that's one. And the other one is Assange is from Sputnik. Assange supporters stage protest outside US Department of Justice in Washington, D.C. So it was a coordinated move, which is good. And it says in June, Priti Patel, who was UK Home Secretary at the time, approved the extradition of Julian Assange to the United States, where he is facing a possible sentence of up to 175 years in prison. Well, he's going to be pretty old when he gets out. Sputnik comes live from London, where Julian Assange's supporters have formed a human chain around the UK Parliament demanding that the WikiLeaks founder be freed, and plans to extradite him to the United States be cancelled. His wife Stella is expected to be among the protesters. Assange is wanted by the US on charges of espionage after WikiLeaks published thousands of classified documents that shed light on war crimes committed by American troops in Iraq and Afghanistan. Well, so who's gonna get them? Hague? Hague is busy with Africans and other countries that they can be bullied around, but not with the big dogs. Big dogs created that one for others, you know. The WikiLeaks founder hid in the Ecuadorian embassy in London from June 2012 to avoid extradition. However, in April 2019, he was arrested by the UK authorities at Washington's request. All right, and the other article says that around 100 protesters gathered outside the US Department of Justice in downtown Washington on Saturday, urging the authorities to drop charges against WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange and stop his extradition from the United Kingdom. On June 17, UK Home Secretary is the same thing over there. What was on the other article, because it's just, they probably should just change the title and put the same content. Nevertheless, what's important is that Assange, you know that if he goes to the United States or if he's trialed somewhere, he's going to be found guilty on all charges, and he's going to be going 175 or whatever years. And it's the same thing with the other guy, as I said, with Snowden, Edward Snowden. But the guys did something stupid with Snowden, but with this guy, you see, this is what happens when you try to play by the rules. Sometimes you do not look at Nuremberg trials. If you look at the Nuremberg trials, then I don't think that if you're in one of these guys' circumstance, you would show up in court. And the reason why is because those trials were mostly revenge trials. If it's not much said about it, all it said is with hatred about those war criminals, and justifications of arguments provided by those German soldiers were not accepted, but are accepted for others nowadays. So it's very strange how things work. And on the other hand, I definitely suggest and I recommend a book, and it's like this thick, but it has a lot of information in it, and the title is Nuremberg Trials, the Nuremberg Trials, and it's written by a British historian, and I mentioned him a few times. His name is, I think he's still alive, probably in the 80s or something now. I will mention only his first name. His first name is David, but so you can identify him. Better than that, you can also find him by the book that he wrote, the first book that made him famous, because yeah, that's the way it was. I think it was in the 60s, called Dresden. And in Dresden, he talks about the Allied campaign of carpet bombing Dresden and flattening it there. He tells the story with interviews and all that. It's a very interesting book. Nuremberg Trial is also interesting book because he's not how should I put it, he just shows more, he provides more information on the Nuremberg trials, and that information that he provides you know, changes a little bit, or makes you think, let's put it mildly, makes you think about justice. And also you can find out who were the prosecutors that the Allies brought to judge or to take care of these German war criminals. And it's very important. Now, if you have a little bit of understanding of how things work, you will definitely know what the dynamics were, because you can link them to the Versailles treaties, when the American delegation showed up again full of certain kind of people that made some, I think it was the French leader who said, what's going on with these people here? I thought it was the Americans coming, or something along those lines. If you know what I'm talking about, then you think that's you know, a little connection. But nevertheless, look at the names, look at all that, and find out who's who, what's what, and see that Nuremberg trials, Assange is going to have, unfortunately, he thought that he could maybe show up and be trialed. The other guy had no, how do you call it, no illusions. That's why he said, I'm not going to come and show up to these guys' trial whatsoever. He knew more than Assange, it seems like. Or Assange had no way to run anywhere. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.